Scott Miller, Miller Estate Agents. Thanks for coming on the Scottish Property Podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
You've not come too far today, have you?
No, just over from Hamilton, so 15
Brilliant.
minutes over the motorway.
Great. So obviously I've been following you for a while on Instagram, social media, and we had a wee sort of call, didn't we, recently, because I was obviously looking into estate agency, setting up estate agency and that, and obviously I was like, who's doing well out there? And obviously I follow yourself, and I thought, Scott seems to be doing well. I'll pick your brain if you like. It's one of the phrases that I absolutely hate getting in the DMs.
Did it to Scott?
Can I meet you for a coffee? And I did pick your brain, mate. So as a repayment,
so you took him for a coffee, picked his brain, annoyed the fucking life out of him. There he's like, mate, do you want to come on the podcast?
As a repayment, mate, and to give a bit back, then we welcome you on the podcast. But I think you've got a great story to share with the listeners. Obviously, you've been in the game a long time. I think you've gone through pretty much all the models, haven't you? Corporate, Purplebricks was it as well?
Favourite.
So we'll talk about that, and now obviously you've set up yourself and you're doing phenomenally great. So we'll talk a lot about running your own business, just from a business owner's point of view. Obviously how the estate agency has changed over the years, and obviously best tips to marketing your property and how you feel the market's going now as well. So we'll get onto all that, but yeah, just right back to the beginning. Then, did you grow up in South Lanarkshire, Hamilton?
Yeah, I grew up in Hamilton. Based my career mostly in Glasgow. I don't think anyone ever grows up wanting to be an estate agent. They always fall into the industry.
I don't know. It's become quite...
It's becoming popular now. We're inundated with CVs every week saying that we really want to get into property, but when I was growing up, it was a really unattractive job.
Obviously, Netflix and Selling Sunsets helped that, hasn't it? I've always said this. I've said this before. So we're recruiting at the moment for a letting agent job, but because it's like property, people are thinking they actually come on the interview and I've watched stuff on, I watch these property shows and all that, and I've always wanted to get into property.
You're not selling a multi-million.
You're not selling Sunset round
in Los Angeles. You're cleaning shite out.
Deepest, darkest, like Motherwell or something like that.
So watch what I say. But it's true, like, we think that a lot of people that got in contact with our business to join or even apply, they think it is all just viewings, negotiations, and quite flexible hours, but the hardest bit about our industry is prospecting, finding those leads.
Yeah, we'll get on to that. Obviously, generating business as well and how you do that, because you're good at the marketing. But so that initial kind of entry point then, so how did you transition then from school into it?
So I went to uni, dropped out, just wasn't for me. I just wanted to go out and start making money. I think a lot of people in the industry just wanted to do that. I started working in a family lawyer's firm, just doing part-time work. They wanted to launch an estate agency, which I quite fancied doing something in sales, getting experience and going from there. So they opened up a company called Keys and Denniston. Still running it this day, and it was a great opportunity to go in and see the industry and learn from a more experienced agent. So I was there for 4 years, kind of learn a more corporate model under an independent, how to prospect, how to deal with clients, how to value, just as many tasks in the business as I could learn.
So just touching on that first job then, because I feel like a lot of people are so quick to kind of want to jump into, maybe this self-employed model and all that, which we'll get on to, but would you say, arguably, is there an argument for going into an already existing business and then just picking up some experience right at the start and seeing how things are working?
100%. I think you need to learn from someone who has experience in negotiating, dealing with clients, valuing in different markets. I always do think that agents that start without the experience, they can pick up bits and bobs, but they'll never really have those life skills to deal with difficult situations or difficult clients. So I wouldn't have been where I was if I never had the training in the early days.
I suppose the corporate company has a better structure to give you the training and allow you to progress through. Whether it's an independent, it might just be fly by the seat of your pants and figure out what you're doing. But I suppose it's almost like an apprenticeship, getting that 4 years with a corporate.
Well, see, with the corporates, their training is very good. It's well played out, and they teach you a lot of skills on how to generate business. After that, it's maybe a different story, in my opinion. Everyone's got different opinions on the industry, but their training is fantastic. I would definitely recommend ending the industry or looking to get the corporate training. It'll set you up in your future for sure.
Yeah. What's your view on, obviously, some of these estate agents that are just like they often, their profits are made at the kind of back end upsell on like mortgage, meet our mortgage advisor and all the rest of it, and they'll always have the kind of add-ons and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's just the model, isn't it? But there's something kind of a bit shady about it, that people are not actually aware of it. You know, the Joe Public who's going to, you know, put an offer in or something like that, you know, talking about like, say, well, it's Connell's, isn't it? Connell's Group, Slate Hog, Countrywide, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so Connell's are massive on mortgages. As far as I'm aware, they make more from their mortgages than they do get from their sales. So the question that I would always recommend to sellers or anyone looking to move home is ask good questions to your agent to find out what their agenda actually is. If they're trying to upsell mortgage appointments, they're going to want the leads from your buyers. So the question you've always got to ask yourself, do you trust that agent that's got your best interests at heart? Or are they using your house as a lead generator to then get mortgage appointments? So if you look at the kind of average fee in the industry, if someone's charging 1% of a 200 grand house, their fee's £2,000. If you're going to generate 20, 30 viewers off of that company can then potentially get 20 to 30 mortgage appointments. If they're converting even 20%, they're making a lot more off the mortgages from the commission than they will do for the sale of your house.
Yeah, so the sale of the house becomes the byproduct and actually the front part of the business.
100%.
It was always the first question, isn't it? It comes up when you're trying to arrange a viewing as well. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen somebody about arranging your mortgage?
I think when you're asked that right away, for me it's a red flag, because do you have the seller's best interests at heart, or are you just trying to line your pockets? And we see it now more with the introductory fees for sellers, like sell your home for $599 or $695, or it's just an entry point to generate leads.
I mean, just talking about that, I don't think there's any harm in having like an additional income stream for your business. Yeah. So like a referral network, which you may have. Yeah. But I don't think it seems to be the first, for a lot of these companies, it's like the first thing. And their staff are so incentivized as well to drive it and basically sell that to you.
Because of how low they pay their staff, and they make the bonuses for the mortgages so more attractive, that it's like it gives them an incentive to push the mortgages.
100%. Like most people in the high street only make money off commission. So if they're not selling mortgage appointments, they're not making a living, especially the rise living costs, etc. They are hammering it. A lot of the corporates as well are paid commission on how many minutes you're on the phone, how many calls you make a day. If you don't make target for how many outbound calls you make, then you won't get paid commission. It's wild. So
let's talk about the Purplebricks model then, because that was an interesting one as well. I mean, like Purplebricks, like they took over for a while. They were everywhere.
Yeah. Purplebricks was wild.
That was mad. So what sort of year? Yeah. What sort of year would we be talking about there?
So I joined in 2017. They'd already been running for a few years before then in England. They didn't have a lot of coverage in Scotland. There was only 10 agents when I joined the business.
And what was the hook for you going into Purplebricks?
For me, it was a case of you owned your own area, so nobody could come into your area and do business. So for me, it was an option to progress my career, have a business within a business without it being like a franchise model. They didn't offer that at that point. We were able to go in and build up an area and basically have uncapped commission. We could earn as much as you put in. I was young at that time. I didn't have any kids, didn't have a lot of commitment. So it was a risk that I thought was worth taking. And Purplebricks were piling money into advertising. That business was only going one way. I applied online, had a chat with the area manager, and it just seemed like a no-brainer. There was just leads coming in through that business.
And this is the thing, isn't it? A conversation we can get on to with the self-employed model about, the big argument is leads. You need leads. So they were supplying you with leads, just constant.
So the marketing budget with Purplebricks was insane. And it was just constant. We were doing about maybe 70, 80 valuations a month. And that was just in East End of Glasgow. We're only looking at kind of G31, 2 and 3. So
wow.
You branched out across Glasgow. It was mental numbers. Scotland was very good for Purplebricks. England didn't do so well with regards to profit margins. That's where the business started to kind of tail off.
And can you remember your numbers, like in terms of when you were doing well, and what sort of money were you making?
So I ended up being able to build a team out as well. So I had a colleague I worked with. So we would do valuations, we would deal with the negotiations, and I'd have a colleague doing the viewings. So we worked kind of really well together. We were doing about 50, 60 a month. With regards to sales, it was insane.
Jeez. What was your average commission?
Commission was set at Purplebricks, so we were about £1,600, which included the viewings. If you weren't doing your viewings, doing it on your own, you were £1,200. I think it's went up a wee bit since then.
So you had to churn through volume to get that kind of
money. And you were doing
it?
50 to 60 a month?
Mm-hmm. It was insane. But most of the work was done through the app at that point, so anyone that was coming through to book a viewing were directed through the website.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, so how much are you making then?
We were probably doing about 130 grand a year.
Nice.
Commission. It was.
And what age were you then?
27.
No commitments?
No commitments. It was a good time.
Good.
What do you spend your money on?
I don't want to admit that.
Can't divulge that in the podcast.
We can't do that. What we did was, as well with it is we couldn't do that without a team. So
See your team. Are you having to pay that out of your?
Yeah, so we were on no salary. Right. So anyone we brought in was out of commission. So
see, when you say we, is this other guys that you connected with around the Glasgow area sort of thing? Is it you did you become quite pally as well with other agents and stuff?
Yeah, so that kind of was the reason I started wanting to collaborate with more agents. So one of my best mates in the industry was what we call local property expert for Purplebricks in Paisley. She's now launched her own business as well, and been able to kind of share ideas on how to grow the business model. Only helped basically my work-life balance and what our income was. Purplebricks did the heavy work with regards to the marketing. I mean, they were everywhere, so everyone knew who Purplebricks were. Not everyone liked them at that point, and it was a disruptor in the industry. A lot of the corporates hated them because they were able to offer an online platform that the high street didn't have. So they were never popular in the industry. Purplebricks made enemies with how they marketed themselves. But from our point of view, we looked at what the younger generation were doing. Less and less people wanted to pick up the phone and have conversations with an estate agent. They wanted to book viewings through the app. It was easy. Yeah. And then from our point of view, it was easy to deal with viewers because sellers were able to see what the viewing diary looked like. They were able to offer through the platform, but an agent still had to deal with the negotiation at that point, which I think was one of their biggest downfalls when they took that away.
Well, so you're obviously flying at that point, you know, like not many people in their 20s are earning over 100 grand a year. You know what I mean? So where did it all go wrong? Because good things obviously can't last forever. So it did go wrong with Purplebricks, didn't it?
Yeah, the owners sold out.
Was that the start of it then?
Yeah, so in 2019, there was kind of rumours that they were potentially looking to sell. So we started to say, well, what would that look for our agency? So they brought in a new CEO who came from a corporate background. And then after, when COVID happened, we were all furloughed. At that point, we were starting to wonder what was going to happen on the back end of that. The owners sold out and the new guys came in and advised us they wanted to go with an employed model as the commission that was getting paid out was too much, basically. Right? So they wanted to put everyone on kind of a base salary, but the commission then hadn't been set. So a lot of us, the higher performers who were used to earning a certain amount of money, they were getting offered a kind of base salary of 25 grand plus a commission that would be agreed at a later date. And all the majority of the big hitters went thanks but no thanks.
Fancy making £1,500 for sending a WhatsApp? Let's take a wee break to talk about referring sellers to John and Lewis at Prime Property Auctions. The boys have paid out over £350,000 in referral fees. Myself and Stephen have both done it and it couldn't be easier.
If you know someone selling a property, the guys will pay you £1,500 or 1% of the sale price, whatever is higher, just for passing their details. Doesn't matter if the seller is already on with an agent or not, as long as you're in direct contact with the seller, just drop the guys a message and they'll do everything from the first call to getting the property sold. If you know someone who might be looking to sell or struggling to get the result with their own agent, go to the link in the show notes and send them a message now.
So then what you're talking about there is like, because you're losing the talent then, aren't you? Because you're not really, people were loyal to the brand because they were getting well incentivized and paid well.
100%.
And then it's like, then it becomes bitter because it's just all about profit grabbing for them as a company. Fair play to the guys who built it and sold it, by the way. What a good story and a phenomenal growth, and then an exit. Sure.
And a decline after the exit.
The owners were good guys. Like, they were absolute sharks in the industry. They taught me a lot about how to...
Do you know what they're doing now?
One of them is really involved in the agency UK. He's a part owner there. Michael, I don't know what he's doing now. Really enjoying the fruits of labour. But they were really good guys and they were clever. Their whole marketing campaign to disrupt the industry was clever.
Yeah, it was a real disruptive point. Definitely.
It opened the door up for all these new ones to kind of come in and change the industry a little bit even now.
Even like when you look at the other independent or the online agents that tried it, like Yopa have done well, but there was others that popped up and didn't have the same impact that Purplebricks did and have since went away. So I think that the marketing stuck, and I think that's what people did like. They drove a fixed fee, which was already available in the market, but having an agent that you worked with kind of hand in hand was what I kind of look at now as a stopgap between working corporate to then being a strong independent. It was a good middle ground, and if someone is on the high street and thinking about going independent but they don't really know, don't want to make the jump, there's still good models there that you can be in the middle, like a Yopa. They do work well for having a business but not committing to having to generate your own leads.
So what did you do those days that you were on furlough then? You're getting paid for sitting about in your boxer shorts?
So I kind of had an incline it was going to change. There was a lot of rumours about in WhatsApp groups that this takeover was coming, and there was an issue with regards to the IR35. So we kind of predicted we're either going to get franchised or we're going to get employed. And I decided I'm not going to take the risk. If we go employed, it's never going to be what we're currently paying, and the tax implications will be a lot different. So I started to research into how we could become different to what the independents currently offered in Scotland. We reached out to agents in London, Australia, America, saying, like, how do you guys do one-to-one agency? How do you get the fees you do? How do you market the way you market? We couldn't take it all here just because the fees abroad are insane compared to what you'll actually charge here. But we were able to take away that agents wanted to work directly with owners wanted to work directly with agents, and the service levels in the UK have been abysmal. If you look at our surveys done, that estate agents are the third least trusted profession in the UK behind journalists and politicians.
Is that right? I think I've seen that. Where are letting agents? They must be even worse.
I must put it all in.
Property education people?
They must be coming.
They must be higher than politicians.
But I just looked at the market and went, the vendors and homeowners don't like estate agents. There's an issue there, and the most common complaint through corporate agency was always communication.
Right.
And when you look at the numbers that corporate agents were doing, it's unsustainable to manage 50, 60, 70 listings a month and have a close relationship with your vendors. So we decided to flip on its head and say, right, let's cut the overheads that you'd have with a corporate branch and work with between 6 and 10 clients a month, but you get me from start to finish. And when we spoke to the agents in London who were doing personal agency, the Australian agents were amazing. Like, what those guys are doing over there is
what sort of commission do they get?
5-6%.
Is it? And the average here is what, 1%?
Just less than 1% just now.
And on less value property.
Less value property. So if you're selling a 200 grand house,
do you think is there more competition like in Australia, surely? Because like that's obviously quite surely that's an attractive career for people to get into out there. So
I think if you look at the Australian market, it's different from here. So they have a ranking system. So
right.
you as an agent are ranked. So if you're number 1, you can charge a higher commission and you're more sought after than if you're ranked number 1,000. Whereas in the UK, we don't have any platforms where you can go other than Google reviews.
Do you think
the ones where you nominate yourself for awards, you pay for the awards, and then you go, we're the gold agency.
Everyone's the best in Scotland, isn't it?
British Property Awards. Have you had these phone calls from people? Like, you must have got them as well.
Try to pay £2,000 to go and give yourself an award. I'm like, this is
apparently you've been nominated, but you need to pay for the table to come to the awards to see if you actually win it. And then it's just all bullshit, isn't it? There are some genuine ones out there, I think, but there's a lot of just money making ones. Yeah, awards.
The ones that we would like, you go to pay for them all. Like, you never win anything for free in this industry, right? So, which we kind of learned earlier. I remember we got our first letter through the door, and it was year 1, and we'd been nominated, and I was like, "This is amazing! Like, the business is flying." And then you've got to pay tickets. And I was like, "This is a racket." But yeah, a lot of agents do buy into it to try and get social proof. But we would argue, Kate, it could potentially be misleading advertising.
I cringe, honestly. Yeah. I cringe because obviously, if you know the way it works, you're like, that's just. I mean, honestly, it's like, why would you do that? You're just you look desperate. You look desperate. Go with your customer reviews. Yeah.
That's why I like Google. Like, Google's unfiltered. If somebody goes on and leaves you a bad Google review, you can't get rid of it. Unless it's disingenuous.
That happened to me. It was they got mixed up with a different ARC property.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
So listen, I'll talk about this all the time. These bastards that copied my name, and I can't do the trademark because they started it after I noticed it. So they started it before I noticed it. So when I went to do the trademark, they're like, "No, you can't do it now. You would have had to done that before they started."
That's wild.
So it's either I change my name or I just deal with it. Deal with
the bad reviews every now and again.
Do you think estate agents should be regulated and registered?
Yes, but I don't think it'll make a huge difference to the quality agents in the industry.
Do you not think that would up the fees a wee bit, maybe? No?
I think if there was regulations that you had to charge a base rate and a maximum, then yeah, it would help. I think that too many agents are quick to drop their commission just to get the business because they're chasing the 100 quid they'll get off their employer. But from a seller's point of view, if somebody's going to drop their commission in your living room, how quickly are they going to drop your price on your sale? it's one of those ones where regulation will help. I think it'll make it harder for people who don't have experience to join the industry, or kind of people to use it as an additional arm to generate leads. So if solicitors want to get into the industry, or investors want to open up an estate agency network, they then have to go and learn how to do the role and be regulated.
Actually, there's a low barrier to entry right there, isn't it?
I think that's the problem. We see it often where you look on Rightmove and there's a new board and you wonder who it is, and you look to see in the industry, because it's not a big industry. Most people know everyone, and you ask around and you don't know who they are, and turns out it may be someone that's not experienced who's just decided that we've got a wee bit of capital, we're going to open up an agency because it's quite trendy to do just now. Or they'll use it from a solicitor's point of view, where they'll maybe stick somebody on to answer the phone and sell off their executive properties. Regulation would help that way, but I don't think it would make huge differences to the industry. I think you'll still have a lot of the same problems we've got.
And obviously, Purplebricks ended, and you went. Is that when you went and set up yourself then?
Yeah, so we kind of had the branding and things set up for about 6 months before, because I did think that eventually we will do our own thing, or I will do my own thing. It just came quicker than what I expected. So when we launched, it was a case of how quickly can we get on Rightmove, how quickly can we get Zoopla sorted. Thankfully, we could move fast on that, get our social pages up, because we had clients ready to work with me straight away, and get the ball rolling. So I set up at 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah. Right, did you?
2 weeks notice.
And did you must have had a bit of cash set aside then for your bit of savings to get started then for the portals and that costs?
So the portals aren't too bad. So the portals will give you a deal to get up and going. So you'll be, your first 6 months, you're half price. So they were when I launched. And then after that, you go to full price. And after that, you're continually paying more every year, to the point where it's crazy money. But I do see value in the portals. That's where buyers go. A lot of agents will like to moan about Rightmove costs. But
it's just a business cost. It's just a cost of doing business, isn't it?
They've got the marketplace squeeze share with it, haven't they?
It's all tax deductible.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of agents as well now are saying like socials are going to overtake Rightmove. It'll help Rightmove, or it'll complement you selling, but you've got to be where buyers are. And
so here's a controversial one. I brought it up earlier with Mark Shanta, but so we had Davey Hutton. He reckons that estate agents in the next few years are going to be, I don't know, he didn't put a time scale on it, but he said there won't be a need for estate agents with AI, obviously. But I don't agree with that. I still think you're going to need the human element there, right?
The human
but see, in terms of the Rightmove argument, potentially, are people just going to go to their AI of choice, ChatGPT app, and say, I'm looking for a 2-bedroom terraced house up to a value of in Hamilton, with a back garden, private driveway, blah, 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 all the rest of it, criteria. And they're just going to go out and scan your website, every estate agent's website.
Yeah, so I think that will come. We're starting to see people try and jump on it on LinkedIn. A lot is going to come down to how you write your adverts. So I don't know if you ever look at descriptions on adverts, most of them are abysmal, right?
Yeah.
So if it goes through ChatGPT, it's going to be related to a lot of keywords and how you rank. If you're searching specific areas, again, AI will improve and continually improve. And I do think people will go to say, well, what are the best deals that we can buy in Glasgow right now? And they'll scan to try and find anything that has a deal in the description. Rightmove will be affected by it, but I do think they'll build an arm to their business. I mean, they've got so much cash.
But I feel like they're pretty slow to adapt. I feel like you just look at their customer service, like try to get hold of anybody. I was the other week, right, we've got a rental property that's struggling a wee bit, and we've reduced the price a couple of times, and the only sort of thing left to do now is do the featured ads, right? And we've never done, like, lettings in 7 years. I've never done any of their bolt-ons, the extra packages or the featured ad. That banner you get sort of thing? And it basically comes up at the top listings. So I was like, it took me like 2 failed phone calls to the area, your guy that's in charge, the manager, didn't answer the phone twice, left messages, left emails. I then had to go to the central customer service support, the email, and then eventually, after must have been about 2 weeks of trying, I eventually got an invoice through for the premium listing. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, so I think they're kind of back end, and I don't think they're very innovative.
I think the problem with Rightmove is that they are so profitable that there isn't a customer service element, and they don't have any competitors. Like Zoopla is so far behind them with regards to listings and the amount of people that are on their website, that Rightmove basically have free reign on portals. The kind of complaint that we have as agents is we are the customer. Technically, we pay the Rightmove bill, but the Rightmove try and set up for the buyer. So it's not really business to business. Is that we pay a subscription, they market to a buyer. The issue that kind of we have with Rightmove is the add-ons. Like the add-ons don't really set up for a smaller business. They work out better for bigger corporations because they do get perks and they do have.
Have you tried their add-ons and the marketing and all that?
We tried the valuation tool when we first launched, and it wasn't great. We done, I think, 6 valuations in Canvas slang, and 3 of them didn't answer the phone. So a lot of the valuation leads come from when someone inquires about a house. They'll pick on the drop-down menu to say, I've got a house to sell, and Rightmove decide that's a lead. We're going to fire it out to the 6 agents that pay us for those leads. I don't think it's cost-effective. Every other agent I've spoke to don't think it's really cost-effective. That could be better.
We'll come on to marketing and leads and that. But set up Miller Estate Agents then, what year?
2021.
Right, and it's just yourself at this point?
Just myself.
With the laptop in the bedroom?
That's it.
That's it. And then how did it progress from then? And did it take a wee while to get off the ground till you were earning? I mean, obviously you're looking back at it and going, wait a minute, I was earning 120 grand, some years at Purplebricks. What does it take to get to that level?
See, when you look at it, I was lucky because I already had a reputation with regards to selling properties. So a lot of the clients that were referring business to friends and family when I was at Purplebricks were continually then referring business to me when I was.
Did you have a database
No, we get locked out. I get locked out straight away.
Before you got a chance to scrape the data?
I know some agents didn't. That was one of the ones I really felt bad about, is that I never really got to speak to clients when I was leaving, because it was a case of, well, I'm not signing the contract, and with the same day my password had changed.
Wow.
So it was a case I can't get in to even let people know I'd left. So people had spent the last 2-3 months nurturing, they were gone.
Aye, and obviously you're the face and it's your name. I know it's Purplebricks, the company.
But it's localised to the localised agent that you're dealing with you.
The problem was when we signed a contract with them that they own the lead. So if somebody wanted to work with you and Purplebricks came after you for it, we never had any instances of that. Like most clients that did come to me after that were saying, well, we want to work with you directly. We have a personal relationship. But I did know some agents had issues with regards to arguing about who owned that client, even before contracts were signed. So there's legal.
See, the thing is as well, right? You're talking about the downfall of Purplebricks. I noticed it when I was kind of buying and arranging viewings from a buyer's point of view as well. Like it very quickly got a really bad experience for the buyer. Because it used to be great, obviously having that connection with yourself, you're showing the property, you're taking offers and the rest of it. Then it pretty much got put to like a call centre in Manchester, wasn't it?
This is the biggest difference that happened, is that when you had your local self-employed agents, if they didn't sell, they didn't get paid, right? So they get a portion of the payment up front, and then they get the rest of the payment once you sold the property. So if they weren't taking calls, doing viewings, they weren't earning money. Whereas when Purplebricks changed the employed model, I don't know if it's instant, but it now is the way where they send out a valuer to value your home. They'll send a valuation report, and that's the last you'll speak to that estate agent. It then goes to their head office, who book viewings and negotiate offers,
and try and sell you all the other crap.
Yeah, the add-ons where they make their money. That's the problem you've got now.
And you're dealing with somebody in a call centre in Manchester, and I was like, this is just shit, and I can't get hold of anybody now. So I just anything that I actually got to the point where anything that came on with Purplebricks, I was like, nah, I'm not even going to do it.
So we started using it as whenever we saw, this sounds really bad, whenever we saw Purplebricks board in somebody's garden, that they were a potential target because we could go after them to say, right, well, we know the service they're going to get here. Chances are they're going to be really frustrated with what's happening with regards to their call centre. We can go after and give them a completely different option. So we looked at properties in Glasgow selling with Purplebricks as an opportunity to go after them.
Directly target them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Chapping all the doors with Purplebricks signs.
Yeah, honestly, we knock doors. A lot of agents won't do that.
I love that. That shows your kind of hunger for it, and as well, how many people have actually got the kind of balls to do that?
We'll go if we list a new listing in an area where we know it's desirable. Let's say you're listing a house in the Mearns. We'll knock the doors and say, we've got you a neighbour coming on the market.
Do you still do that to this day?
Because
chapping doors.
My job is to make your property more expensive, right? So if I can knock doors on the neighbours to say we've got one coming on the market, because 9 times out of 10 they'll know somebody that wants to get into a popular area, we'll get phone calls straight off the bat to say, right, I've got maybe 5 or 6 people that want to view that house. We then launch it on Rightmove and then get more people through to generate competition. I get paid on performance. The more I can get that client for their home, the more I can get paid in commission, the more they get for their house sale. and I work solely for the seller. We offer a buyer service, but not many people in Scotland uptake it. But it's our job to get the most amount of money for your home. So if I'm knocking doors and it's going to put an extra couple of grand in our pocket, then I'm going to do it.
What's your strategy though when you're sitting at home, somebody chaps your door?
A lot of people don't like it. Like,
I hide. I don't answer it.
A lot of people do answer. It's the ring doorbells when they see they don't know who it is, right?
Oh, so that's the thing now, isn't it? So what you get the ring doorbell, so then it becomes awkward straight away. You've got like 2 seconds sales pitch, isn't it?
You've got to have a prop, I think. Like, I found it easier when you get a prop. So if you've got a brochure, or because we're starting to do brochures again, I think there is a market for that. Or if you've got a valuation pack you can give them, say like we're selling in the street, we thought we'd let everyone else know kind of what the going rate is for your house. You give them some value, they'll be more receptive to it. If you knock the door and say like, we're selling this house, do you know anybody that wants to buy it? They're going to tell you.
How many, like, what sort of percentage do you just get the door slammed in your face? Or
like the conversion rate's pretty low. I mean, their conversion rate must be less than like 20% of people saying, I know somebody that wants to buy. But
you've got a good friendly face as well. You've got a nice smile, mate. You know, like I would actually potentially consider opening the door to you.
Really?
Potentially.
Ring doorbell.
It's when it's the guys that have the lanyards and all that, and the kind of charity people. It's sad to say, but it's like those ones, and then it's the milk. The ones that come around selling the milk as well, man. I'm just like, I had this conversation with you last month.
Yeah. Like, it's the same with agents where, like, I think the industry's changing. Like, people want to work with people they like. And I had a quote. It's if an agent in Milton Keynes told me is that people like shopping with friends rather than working for someone. So if you've got an estate agent that turns up in big fancy car, 3-piece suit, and are kind of talking to you as if they're the authority, people don't like it. Whereas if you turn up and you can meet somebody at their level.
What kind of car do you drive?
I'm currently driving a Jaco, which is a nightmare.
Is that Chinese?
Aye.
I think we got one of them. We got one of them in Dubai, I think, to drive about in. I'm quite impressed.
It's quite a nice drive. We've just the issue is that we get a problem with it, and nobody seems to be able to fix it. So we think we've fixed it, and then you get the problem again.
No warranty.
Jaco garage doesn't exist.
You don't exactly.
They're banned from America. Trump banned them, right? Chinese cars, I think.
I'm not a big car person, to be fair.
So do you have it branded up? Talk to us about branding and that, and marketing and stuff. Do you have your big face across the side and all your signs? Have they got you on them?
So we've got our face on the boards, which has helped kind of build kind of brand loyalty. Because if I'm going out to a viewing and I'm meeting a buyer directly, the amount of times I've had to comment to say, "Oh, are you so and so from the boards? It's nice to meet you," rather than meeting somebody that doesn't know anything about the house. And we get a lot of leads from that because when we were doing a viewing, we were trying to find out as much about the buyer as we can, right? Because the biggest issue I think in agency is when you get down to doing viewings, more agents than not will try and encourage the homeowner to do their own viewings. But from our point of view, there's always a conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a buyer, you're never going to disclose likes, dislikes, budget to the homeowner.
And it creates an awkwardness, I find, as well.
100%.
So like, you know, you might they might start asking about neighbours and all this, and then they can trip themselves up quite easily, or they get too emotional because they're emotionally attached.
They also say, what will you take for the house, or what will you take for your flat? And if you've got 3 or 4 people off after that, you really can't give them a figure. Also, even personality clashes we see quite often where people have viewed the house, they've been the highest bidder, but the owners didn't like them and they didn't want to leave that person in that street with their neighbours. So having an agent doing the viewings takes all that away.
Did you not do you did viewings on your latest flips, did you not? Did you not step in and do some viewings?
I had to do it, sell a couple of them.
Because you just felt like you
employ me.
You had the better sales.
I went to Dubai thinking that, I'm put the property on the market, came back a week later thinking I'm going to be at a closing date. Like, this is a fucking great product, great location, done it right, staged right, this is perfect. Came back 24 viewings and no offers and this, and I'm like,
what's wrong?
Fuck's wrong here? Like, I've not missed the mark. So then I did 3 viewings and I got 3 offers.
Did you? Mike, you did a killer estate agent, mate.
But I get what you're saying as well. Like, I think the people, a couple of them knew that I owned it, but I tried to kind of play.
Yeah, but you're not. It's different if you're like lived in the property and it's your home. That wasn't your home.
Yes, I'm showcasing you the potential and what it is and the upsides.
Because I think you can sell. I think the biggest thing is being able to sell. Like, we get a lot of people that comment when we do a viewing to say, that we just viewed one and the agent opened the door and just said, have a look around.
And that's the thing, especially a flip property as well, is like, you know, is the walls insulated? Well, the agent can't tell you that, but I can tell you. Or has it been rewired? The agent can't tell you that, but I can tell you that. Yeah. So that I can tell you everything about the property because I've paid the guys to go in and do the development. Oh, where's the kitchen from? It's Wren and it's integrated appliances. Like, I can tell you all the stats. They're not going to have any questions because all they just got to do is phone me next day going, oh, I've got 6 questions from the agent from you. I'm like, fucking great, I could have just been there and answered the questions. But it is a bit of pain. But I see your point. If somebody's personalised, they're invested in the property, understands the area, the property, and takes the emotion out like I was, then you can sell it.
So see with the upgrades, right, what we do with our clients, it's a tip for anyone, is that we actually have a call with a client before we go on the market to basically ask, when was your boiler done? Who installed it? Is it serviced? Do you have cavity wall? When do you put the kitchen in? When do you put the bathroom in? So that when we're in an appointment, if we don't know, we've got all the facts there. It just makes you look more professional. There's less kind of objections from a buyer. And even at the end of the viewer, we say, any questions? And they would usually say yes or no. And then we always say, like, can I ask you what you liked about the house or the flat? And they'll tell you what they like about it. We'll say anything you don't like about it. And at that point, we can feed that back to the vendor. So if you're getting 24 viewings with no offers.
I think that's the issue, though, is a lot of the agents now are obviously trying to cut down costing rather than putting on a stage out or a negotiator out and do viewings. They're sending a viewing agent. Probably like my mum. You're just
have a look around,
semi-retired, open the door, go and show them around the property. Can you answer any questions? No, you're a key opener, and you're just devaluing what service an agent offers. And
I think that's the issue in our industry, is that when we pitch for business, like, we're a lot more expensive than what our competitors are, and it's our biggest kind of constraint is showing the value that we bring to the table.
What would be your average fee?
Our average fee is about 1.75%.
That's amazing. That's brilliant. But
Scotland's such a fucking tight ass place, though, because somebody would question that and go, but if you're selling a 200 or 300 grand property, but you can get somebody 20 or 30 grand more than the shitty agent. Look at the money you've made by actually paying 0.7% more than the 1%. But people go, oh, but he's 1%, he's 1.75. I'm going to go with the 1% one. They get it so fucking twisted.
So we flip it now, because we used to always see, unless it's a recommendation where people come to us and they're recommended to use us, we don't get objection on fee. If it's a cold lead, then we'll usually get an objection on fee. Why are you 0.75 more than what our competitors are?
Yeah, how do you have that conversation then when people put up that objection?
So what we do is we obviously tell the benefits of working one-to-one and why I'll be working directly with you throughout the full process. But again, we just look at the results. So we brought in the data to what your average sale price is compared to the home report value. There's not great data in Scotland, but the data we've been able to get show that we are selling for 4% more than our competition. Right. So then when we say our fee's 1.75, if you're selling at 200 grand and we're getting you 4% more, we'll be more upfront, but we'll save you a lot of money with regards to then we'll put more money in your pocket. It's having that conversation to show a vendor that you've got to pick where the value is rather than getting sucked into a lower fee.
But it's trying to like have that conversation without being too technical as well, isn't it? It's kind of hard because you're dealing with people. This house sale only happens probably like twice in their lifetimes. Do you know what I mean?
So we've got an app now that we can put in the living room. Say if we're up against a competitor that's charging 1% and they're averaging 100,
sometimes it's 0.7%.
Even at that, like if they're only achieving 101% home report value, which is about the average just now from the data that we've pulled, and we're achieving about 106, we can put into our app right in front in the living room. This is what we charge. This is how much we'll get back. This is what they charge that they back, and they can visually see it.
And a monetary pounds. Value, so they can see the value extra in their pocket.
Yeah, so they then see, okay, that makes sense. Again, we've got to obviously get those results. I think if you're a micro market agent, then it's even more beneficial. If you work in an area which properties are selling 10 to 15% over, and you can get that data, the issue we have is you can't get micro data for like Hamilton or Denniston or certain areas. Right. You can only really get Scottish data.
Like your data? I love
you have to basically do it yourself and data. Log it yourself.
Like, we base all the decisions on our marketing on data. Right? So a lot of people base it on how many views they get on Instagram, right? Which is helpful, but how many people are genuinely interested in them to buy? If you look on Rightmove, like Rightmove gives you this data where you'll get a graph of where your property's views are at compared to the competition in your area. So we can go to a client, like we're getting 70% more views than what the competition are getting in your street for the one that's on the market down the road.
On my property that I told you I had to go and do the viewings for was the top ESPC rated viewed property in December or November on the market.
That's mad.
So it was the most viewed, and
something right there.
And I said that openly to the agent, because obviously I know the agent very well. I've worked with them for years and years. Said I don't like this method you're went like putting a viewing agent into a property when someone's selling it on emotions. You need to have somebody that sells it, not 100%. Let's just fucking list it on Rightmove and just see what viewings come in.
That's why I don't think AI can replace agents. They don't have that personal touch to find out basically why they're buying it in the emotional side.
The only issue with that is,
section, I
mean, obviously, like as you've scaled the business or like grown, presumably like you can't do it all yourself. Like, are you still trying to do as much yourself, or have you had to get viewing agents and things to help you out?
So I still do all the face-to-face work. I've got staff now that do the back end, so we have we're literally just about to put in automations for home report requests. So there's a home report request and you'll get that instantly, and then Leanne will give them a call the same day to book in an appointment if they want to view or if they get any questions on the home report. So AI will help the admin side. I still think you need people on the phone, and again, I still need to be front and centre for the business. On a scale point of view, we'll never be able to do 20, 30 personally. So the only way we can scale our business is to get good agents in their local areas. But again,
I mean, I think if you can get viewing agents and properly train them, and then obviously make sure they're doing their job, which could still work.
I think the issue with the viewing agent side of it is going to a vendor and saying, well, how are we any different other than what would get you more for your property? We could bring a viewing agent in, but it's not. We tried it for lower end properties like investment stuff, and it just didn't go down that well. So we just took it straight back out of the business. Yeah. Again, it's not something.
Well, that's it. You've got to justify your fee at the end of the day as well. So you've got to say what cuts you out from the rest. That's it.
I think fees should be based on results. Like, we're no sale, no fee. We don't charge anything up front. The only upfront charge is going to be the home report because we're not involved in that. But agents should only be paid on success.
Do you not charge a market fee?
With Flips properties, I often offer the agents, like, if you give me, you've paid 1%, if it's 1% of home report, anything above it, you get 25%. Like, incentivize the fuck out of them to try and go for it, because they're pushed this
100%
to sell it and sell it for more.
See, whenever we sell for investors, they love that because they usually come from a sales background or understand that the more incentive someone is, everyone wins. Residential buyers sometimes don't love it because they don't trust agents as it is, so they always feel as if they're going to get done. Which isn't the case. I always think of an agent, like, we've actually gave clients the option before of saying, well, we'll not charge you any percentage fee, we'll literally just take percentage of the profit, but it'll be a lot higher, for instance.
What is the key to getting the best price and negotiating to get it up? You see some people, like some
secrets.
Some agents are just, I feel like they're just quite lazy. They put it on for a couple of weeks, they collect in a couple of notes of interest, and then it's just a closing date.
It's all about creating hype. Like, properties, especially just now, like, supply is low, demand is high. So you've got to create enough hype around that house that people feel like they need to go for it quickly, otherwise.
And how would you do that?
Basically, so the way we try to run it is we always set certain days for viewings and launching. So Rightmove's busiest day is a Monday. So all our properties go live on a Monday because more people are on that site.
What about Boxing Day?
No, that's
shite.
a con.
What is shite, is it?
We'll put it this way, right? If you're looking at a house on Boxing Day, right, most people are sitting hungover or after Christmas. They're not going out to view houses, but also
and agencies don't open up back in another 2 weeks anyway. After that.
This is always the thing that Rightmove roll out, isn't it? Boxing Day is the busiest day of the year.
I think it's the busiest for advert views. How many agents are open?
And none.
No, sorry, I took you off your track there. So Monday is the launch day.
Right, so we always launch on a Monday, worst case on a Tuesday, right? So that we then have the most amount of views on our property. We'll try and upgrade the listings when we can. Like, feature properties and premium listings do work for view numbers. It isn't just an upsell. They do help the advert. We will then try and launch the property for viewings Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because everyone's available at the weekend. If not, they can tie in Thursday nights or Friday nights, so that we have all our viewers in back to back before the Monday comes round, so that as of the Monday, we have everyone lined up to offer. And then we look at the offers on the table. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on it. If you're telling people they can view a house in a week's time,
do you drive extra traffic through social media? Or
social media, like, we could be better at social media. There's definitely agents out there that are driving their own personal brand stronger. Social media we're trying to pick up some information on how English agents are doing it, because they are flying down there. Like, the English market is getting so much better with regards to our profession. We don't get a huge amount of leads through social media. We might get about between 5 and 10% of our viewers through there. But most of our viewers come through either a database by just call outs, letting people know what's coming on the market, just old school agency. or going through the portals.
There is some people, like, you see them like really pushing the boat out in the social media, and I just think it's not necessarily, like, I don't think you need to go and jump in a swimming pool with your suit on and all that. Do you know what I mean? Americans do like mad stuff, don't they? I just think you just need to be authentic, be yourself, build up trust. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no point in trying to be somebody you're not.
There's an agent in America that does, which I think's the best property videos around, where they'll go into the house, it's done professionally, it still looks great, but she'll tell them how they can buy it. So they'll tell them how much their mortgage will be on a 10% deposit, what the down payment will be, and any additional cost in America. Because when we're speaking to buyers, like, they'll look at house prices, but they'll not know what they'll be paying a month on a mortgage. Whereas when you actually speak to buyers, say that you could get this through for, I don't know, £1,000 a month.
It's almost with the car sales went with PCP. You can get this Merc for £299 a month. Oh, can I afford that? Would you tell them? I think that's probably a good way agents could actually sell, because I think because rents are so high right now, people might be pegging, here's a 2-bed flat for £1,000 a month rent, and all of a sudden your advert comes up going, view this beautiful flat, and your mortgage would only be £495 a month.
100%. Sell the value.
What about those properties
Sorry to pull tenants off Nick there, eh?
What about those properties that stick then? Because not everyone, you're going to list it on the Monday and have it sold by the following Monday. So the ones that are sat on the market, and it does feel like we're kind of more entering into a more buyer's market at the moment. I don't know about your own feeling, but how do you treat those properties? Because obviously you only get sold. You only get paid when the property gets sold.
So we've got a process we work towards. So on our initial onboarding meeting, we'll advise that after 2 weeks there'll be a full review of everything that's happened on your property. Our average sale time is 9 days just now from launching to agreed sale. And that's been pretty consistent since we launched the business, which is great, even though the market has started to slow down.
Member estate agents are sitting at number 3 of the most untrusted professions. No, I'm sure you're there.
Sure. We've got the data, should we?
I'm sure the data's good.
Well, Rightmove give us that data, to be fair, which is ideal. But if you're looking at... so I lost my train of thought now.
Sorry, that's me in a nutshell, mate. Jumping in, interrupting.
So after 2 weeks, we'll look to see why it's not selling. So you've got your feedback from your viewers. If you're not getting viewers, it's an advertising problem or a pricing problem. We use pro photographers on every property, right? So it tends to be it's never an advert problem, because you can't upgrade your photos. You can't upgrade your advert more than having a featured and a premium. So it then comes down to price, and 9 times out of 10 it is a pricing issue.
On the pricing thing, right, how tempting is it for a new agent, maybe not for yourself because you've got a lot of experience now, right, but for a new agent trying to get on listings, right, I would imagine that you're going out there and you're thinking, I just need to get some properties on, I'll just say that it's worth letting them overvalue it just to get the listing. But how much of a negative can that be later down the line?
So if you're stuck with clients that you can't sell for, they'll just begin to hate you. Like to be honest, you become that agent they're stuck with. They've got an exit fee, and you can't sell their property because it's overvalued. Again, if you're looking at what the stats are, always look at what the comparable sales are. They never lie. You can then compare what yours looks like to what theirs looks like and give you an idea. And then it comes down to what agent can generate enough hype to get you the best possible price.
It's a thing that still gets done quite a lot though, isn't it? Even with the corporates and all that, have got the experience.
Get you hooked in by offering you the we'll sell it for more. I just referred someone from Glasgow, actually, a mentee of mine was looking to sell his grand's house. He just died in an area near me. So recommend a couple of agents. I recommend the girl that just started up. She's doing really, really well. And he came back and says, oh, well, she said 270, but the other agent says 310. Like that. And I'm like, she's a new agent, probably looking for a business. And I'm like, well, I've not looked at your property and the prices, but don't trust the agent that's just telling you the highest price. Make sure you're looking at, is there something selling for the same condition, the same size, and look at it honestly to yourself.
Because what we do is we always speak to the surveyors for like ones that are not, if we're ever contested on value, and say that we'll speak to 3 different surveyors firms. We'll come back with what their estimation is on the value, and then there's also my estimation. So if there's 4 people saying that it's worth 280 and there's one unicorn agent saying 310, then it's not going to happen. And if they still want to test that market, we just say, right, do it on a no sale, no fee. Just make sure you've got in your contract and there's no cost incurred. But when you relist, there's a good chance you'll get even less for your house because they've seen it before.
Yeah. Last couple of questions then. Generating leads and marketing, what's been your best kind of way to generate business, would you say? Or was it just a mixture of everything?
So most of my businesses came from recommendations from clients that have worked with me. I always think that your customers are always going to be your best advertising tool. If you give them a great result and give them great customer service, not only will they use you again, they'll recommend you to friends, families, etc. Also building relationships, and this is one that can be done through mortgage brokers, investors, don't spam out emails to people saying, look, we're looking for business, we can do this, we can do that. I try and get to meet people and maybe try and take them out for a night out or vice versa, and try and show them that we're genuinely good people. It'll get you in a lot more doors. And then there's just old school agency knocking doors. Nice.
What about
It's good that that's still there.
Still there.
Yeah.
That's still there.
What about the paid ads then, and the Facebook ads and all that stuff?
We tried paid ads, but the conversion rate's abysmal. So for every 100 leads you get, you might get 1 or 2 valuations off it. And there's got to be a hook. So that's why I think when you get people going on to sell your home for cash within 14 days, it's a hook that gets people onto it, and you'll maybe get more leads towards people wanting that. For an agency point of view, we'll put out our stats on the paid ads, but it's never really paid off for us.
Is the paid ads more of a brand visibility rather than a lead generation? Yeah,
more brand awareness.
What sort of numbers are you doing now then? Obviously now that you're kind of quite established, what sort of monthly figures are you hitting for properties sold?
So as a business just now, so I've got myself, I've got another agent that works in Straven and surrounding areas. We're doing about 11 to 12 properties a month, which is pretty solid. Again, I'd like another agent in to cover over towards Edinburgh. We're starting to get properties over in that neck of the woods, which is great. But again, they still need to follow our brand values, up to 10 properties a month, and you're capped off at that.
Do you feel like that could be like doubled if you sold yourself short on fee? Like if you say you did 1% on 1.75, do you think you could have, that could be 20 properties, and would that just be not the way you want to go?
No, like we thought about it, but we don't get a lot of kickback on fees. Like our conversion rate's about 75%, just below 75%. So like most people will use us. If anything, we should probably put our fees up and bring that conversion rate lower down and work with even less clients. But I still think you need to have brand awareness in areas. If you only work with 3 or 4 clients a month, your brand's not really going to be out there. But I think agents that are doing lower fee costs, or fees, sorry, they could put their fees up, work with less clients, have a better business. 100%.
And what about for the investor audience out there? Like we've got a lot of investors and landlords and stuff that are looking to still buy and grow their portfolios and all that. If you've got your kind of buy to let kind of market properties on, what would you say the best way for people to conduct themselves when trying to build a decent relationship with an estate agent? What they kind of knows, what are the ways to kind of get a good relationship going?
Just be specific and try and build a personal relationship. I always think if you're just starting out in the property game and you're struggling to get people to answer the phone or come back to you, try and arrange to meet them. But give them value in your time as well. Tell them what you're looking for, what numbers you're looking to earn, and what areas the agent can look for you. We get a lot of emails from investors saying we're looking for anything below market value, and it's just so generic. We get these emails almost daily.
Cash buyer.
We're a cash buyer. We can complete quickly. That's great, but
what are you looking for?
Yeah, we don't know what you're looking for, and we'll send over deals and that comes on the market or off market, and they say, "Oh, we're not actually interested in that area." And you then instantly become, "Well, what deal do you want? We need to know." So the best guys I've ever come across have actually come in to see me. They've actually told us what they want. They've gave value back, and they've took interest in how they work. That would be my opinion. Try and build relationships.
Yeah.
You hear like English agents and podcasts and that, they talk a lot about, sales falling through and all that. It doesn't seem to happen as much in Scotland, but like talk about like, have you had any nightmares over the past year where
this is something I think that's going to come out, right? So a lot of English agents will look at the Scottish market and think, "Oh, you guys have got it so well because missers are signed when an offer's accepted," which isn't true.
No.
So missers now run all the way until almost the day of you moving. So I'd argue it's pretty much the same model as England, except you can't gazump up here. So the problem with the fall through rate, that's going to continue to grow because sellers are taking longer to get over the line. We're looking at average kind of completion time is over 8 weeks now, which is mental. So the longer something's under offer, the more chance you've got of that buyer seeing something else pulling out.
Have you had anything lately personally that's happened in any of your sales where it's collapsed?
I've not any of this fell through, to be fair. We only really average about less than 3% fall through rates.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with fall throughs is either not getting proof of funds up front, right? Loads of agents don't take proof of funds, which is bizarre. Because again, you then don't know if they can afford that.
That's weird, isn't it? Like now, I mean, as a letting agent, we do so much for referencing, like to get a rental property, and I've never understood why it's just no standard practice in sales to do some sort of form of, your credit check, proof of funds, we ask for wage slips, we ask for bank statements, we ask.
So we're the same. We ask for bank statements, we ask ID, we get a credit check, and we get proof of the mortgage if they're getting that. Because I want paid in 10 weeks' time. Worst case scenario. I don't want to get.
And
6
do you
weeks
get
in line.
do you get kickback from that? Like, do you get people like buyers saying, "No, I'm not doing that"?
No,
and then
lawyers kick back on it quite a lot.
Aye.
Where they'll phone up and say, "Why are you asking our client for these details?" And we say, "Look, it's the same if you're buying a car or you're buying anything. You need to prove you can afford
I think it should be standard.
Yeah. And that would bring the fall through rate down. I think you've looked at this guy called Chris Watkins down in England.
Yeah.
He does lots of stats. So he put a stat out recently that the completion percentage in Scotland for sales agreed is only 79.3%. So there's over 20% of house sales falling through not selling.
All right.
So that's either going to be due to not providing proof of funds or getting them, or the missers taking longer to sell. That's wild. Missers should be getting done a lot earlier in the process so that people know when they're moving.
Quite a few doors for you to be chatting there then.
Yeah, we always go after anything that we list back on the market, just a target for agents now.
Yeah.
And then again, everyone writes to homeowners to try and get their business. So you got to have a different idea of how you go around that. So if you sell saying, "I saw you fall through," that's the last thing a homeowner wants to hear. You can go with value to say, "I'm sorry to hear about your situation. Here's an idea we could ask your agent to do." Give them value.
I think though that there's very few agents, like even with houses that come on my bit, like very few agents are doing door knocking. So that's another thing that obviously you've got hunger for it, mate. So
People just don't want to do it.
Aye.
But it works. Like I didn't do it like the first 6 months, and then I spoke to a lot of agents down south. What's your best lead generator? Because we're just not doors. And I was like, nah, no chance. And then you do it, and then like, as long as you've got something for them, like we always take a valuation back to say, we'll value this one up the street, or we'll value in the area. Here's a valuation. I'll tell you roughly what your house is worth. If you're ever selling or you want to chat, give me a call and I'm going to see you.
the only thing with that is like we've got this Facebook group in our estate and it's like all the nosy neighbours, mate. So anytime somebody turns up at the door, they've got the photo up in the Facebook group. This guy's been walking about the estate. Has anybody seen this guy? And it's like everybody's out looking and commenting. Aye, that's what I'm saying. You just need to keep smiling, mate. Your smile will get you a long way.
That's it. It's just try like, as long as you're friendly and kind of try and build relationships with homeowners. See if you're out looking for something. I always think if you give value, it'll come back to you. See if you're going out and knocking doors and you're expecting to get a house sale that day, you're probably not going to get one. But if you go out there and plant seeds, they'll come back to you.
Yeah, and you're not trying doors.
Aye.
Right, brilliant. Scott, you've given a huge amount of value there. All the tips and all your secrets.
Right.
Did I get all the secrets out of him?
Got it,
Apart from his bank balance, but we'll leave that for next time.
Appreciate you coming in and sharing
you.
as well. It was a good story.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic, Scott. All the best to you and all the best for your business as well.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
No problem.